Hold on to your calculators, folks, because things are about to get weird, tariff weird, that is. We're about to embark on a journey through the labyrinth of numbers and policies that will leave you scratching your head. We're diving deep into the Trump administration's tariff calculations, and let's just say, the numbers don't quite add up. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces just don't fit together, no matter how hard you try. Picture this. You're at a yard sale and the owner has decided to price everything based on the color of your shirt. Sounds ridiculous, right? Imagine the confusion and frustration you'd feel trying to figure out the logic behind it. Well, that's basically how the Trump administration decided to slap tariffs on goods from different countries. It was a strategy that seemed to defy conventional economic wisdom and left many scratching their heads. The announcement of these tariffs sent shockwaves through the global economy, leaving economists baffled and trade experts questioning their sanity. Markets reacted with volatility, and businesses were left in a state of uncertainty. It was like watching someone try to solve a Rubik's Cube by throwing it at a wall and hoping for the best. The randomness of the approach was both amusing and alarming. The big question on everyone's mind: what exactly was the method behind this tariff madness? Was there a hidden strategy, or was it just a chaotic mess? Buckle up, because we're about to break it down step by nonsensical step. Get ready to dive into the world of tariffs, where logic takes a backseat and confusion reigns supreme. The Trump administration, in its infinite wisdom, decided to base its tariff calculations on a rather unusual metric: bilateral trade deficits. In simpler terms, they looked at how much more the United States was importing from a particular country compared to how much it was exporting to that country. If the difference was large, boom, tariffs. It was like punishing your neighbor for having a bigger swimming pool than you, even though they let you use it whenever you want. The idea, according to the administration, was to protect American jobs and industries from unfair competition. By making imported goods more expensive, they hoped to encourage consumers to buy American-made products instead. Sounds good in theory, right? Well, as they say, in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. In practice, it's a whole different ballgame. The problem is, economists have been saying for decades that using bilateral trade deficits to justify tariffs is like using a banana to measure the circumference of the Earth. It's just not the right tool for the job. For one thing, trade deficits don't necessarily reflect unfair trade practices. They can be influenced by a whole host of factors, like currency fluctuations, differences in savings rates, and even consumer preferences. For another, tariffs are a blunt instrument that can have unintended consequences. They can raise prices for consumers, hurt businesses that rely on imported goods, and even spark retaliatory tariffs from other countries, leading to damaging trade wars. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You might extinguish the flames temporarily, but you're likely to create a much bigger problem in the process. Section 4. China on the calculator. Let's take China as an example. The Trump administration slapped hefty tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, citing the massive trade deficit between the two countries. But here's the thing, that deficit doesn't tell the whole story. China is a major hub for global manufacturing, so many of the goods the United States imports from China are actually made with components from other countries, including the United States itself. So, by imposing tariffs on Chinese goods, the United States was essentially taxing its own companies and consumers. It's like going to a restaurant, ordering a pizza, and then getting angry at the waiter for bringing you the bill, even though you're the one who ate the pizza. The logic just doesn't hold up. Section 5. Deficits and dishonesty. The Trump administration's insistence on using bilateral trade deficits as the primary justification for tariffs reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of how global trade actually works. It's like trying to understand the internet by only looking at cat videos. You might find it amusing, but you're not going to get the full picture. Trade deficits, in and of themselves, are not inherently bad. In fact, they can be a sign of a healthy economy. When a country is growing, its consumers and businesses tend to buy more goods and services, both domestically and from abroad. This can lead to a trade deficit if imports outpace exports, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the country is being taken advantage of. Section 6. Keeping up with the Joneses and their trade surplus. Imagine you have a neighbor, let's call them the Joneses. They live just down the street in a cozy, well-maintained house. The Joneses are very frugal people. They meticulously plan their finances and always look for ways to save. They save a lot of their income and don't spend much. Every penny is accounted for, and they prioritize their savings goals. You, on the other hand, love to shop and enjoy treating yourself to new things. Whether it's the latest gadget or a trendy outfit, you don't hesitate to spend. As a result, you have a trade deficit with the Joneses. You buy more from them, in this case goods and services, than they buy from you. This means you are spending more money on their products and services than they are on yours. Does this mean the Joneses are being unfair to you? Of course not. It's simply a matter of different spending habits and financial priorities. They're just making different choices with their money. While they focus on saving and investing, you focus on enjoying the present and spending on what makes you happy. The same logic applies to countries. Just like individuals, countries have different economic behaviors and priorities. Some countries, like China, have high savings rates and export-oriented economies, which can lead to trade surpluses. They produce more than they consume and sell the excess to other countries. Other countries, like the United States, have lower savings rates and consume more, which can lead to trade deficits. They buy more from other countries than they sell. It's just a reflection of different economic structures and priorities. Each country, like each individual, makes choices based on what they value most. Section 7. The global impact of tariff tinkering. The Trump administration's tariff policies have had far-reaching consequences for the global economy. These policies, aimed at protecting American industries, have instead created a ripple effect that has been felt across the world. They have disrupted supply chains, raised prices for consumers, and led to shortages in various sectors. The impact on everyday goods has been significant, with many items becoming more expensive or harder to find. This has created uncertainty for businesses, both large and small, as they struggle to navigate the new economic landscape. Many have had to close their doors, unable to cope with the increased costs and unpredictability. The tariffs have also strained relationships with key trading partners, leading to a series of retaliatory measures. Countries that once enjoyed strong trade ties with the United States are now looking elsewhere for economic partnerships. This has undermined the rules-based trading system that has underpinned global prosperity for decades. The World Trade Organization, which has long been a stabilizing force in international trade, is now facing unprecedented challenges. The tariffs have also failed to achieve their stated goal of reducing the trade deficit. Instead of narrowing, the trade deficit has actually widened, highlighting the ineffectiveness of these measures. In fact, the United States trade deficit has actually widened since the tariffs were imposed. This is a clear indication that the policies have not worked as intended. This is because, as economists had predicted, the tariffs have hurt American businesses and consumers more than they have hurt foreign competitors. The increased costs have been passed down the supply chain, ultimately affecting the end consumer. The tariffs have led to job losses and business closures, particularly in industries that rely heavily on imported materials. American workers have found themselves caught in the crossfire, with many losing their livelihoods. It's like trying to win a staring contest with a statue. You might think you're making progress, but in reality, you're just hurting yourself. The stubbornness to stick with these policies despite clear evidence of their failure has only exacerbated the situation, but in reality, you're just hurting yourself. The frustration and stress felt by businesses and consumers alike are palpable, as they bear the brunt of these misguided policies. The Trump administration's approach to tariffs has been characterized by a disregard for economic principles, a reliance on flawed logic, and a willingness to prioritize short-term political gains over long-term economic stability. A reliance on flawed logic, and a willingness to prioritize short-term political gains over long-term economic stability. This short-sightedness has had lasting repercussions, and a willingness to prioritize short-term political gains over long-term economic stability. The focus on immediate results has overshadowed the need for sustainable economic policies. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of protectionism and the importance of sound economic policymaking. History has shown us time and again that protectionist policies often lead to more harm than good, and the importance of sound economic policymaking. Experts agree that a more measured and strategic approach is needed to navigate the complexities of global trade. In the words of the great economist Paul Krugman, trade wars are easy to start, but hard to win and impossible to stop. His insights remind us of the intricate balance required in international trade. Trade wars are easy to start, but hard to win and impossible to stop. The ongoing debates among economists and policymakers highlight the need for a more thoughtful approach to trade.